So let me tell you, I'm going to have a simple illustration to show you how unnecessary taxes can adversely affect what you're trying to do. Very simple, right? Now, before I get into it, you have to understand how compounding interest works. Let's say there was a pond, right? And in this pond, in the middle of this pond, there was one lily pad. And every day the lily pads doubled. One day it was one lily pad. The next day it was two lily pads. The next day it was four lily pads. And the next day it was eight lily pads, so on and so forth. Every day it doubled. If it takes this pond 49 days for it to be covered in lily pads, how many days did it take for it to be halfway covered in lily pads? And usually what a lot of people do is they say, well, if it took 49 days, then half of 49 is so approximately what? Maybe 25, 26 days, 24, 25, 26 days that it took. Actually, no. If it's doubling every day, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and it took 49 days for the pond to be completely covered, then it would have only taken 48 days for it to be halfway covered. That's how compound interest works. It starts small in the beginning, but then as it goes, it just keeps getting bigger. The same thing applies to this. If you double $1 20 times, that $1 from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 to 32, that $1 after 20 days will be $1,048,576, right? That's a lot of money. But what happens when you just apply just the 25% tax rate to that dollar, right? That $1,000,000 just dropped dramatically to $72,570.64. Now, here's the thing. I know I got a lot of money making people in this workshop on this stream. So I wouldn't be surprised if y'all are not looking at already in or headed toward the 33% tax bracket. What happens when you apply a 33% tax bracket to that doubling dollar? It drops down even further to $27,362.05. Here's the thing, y'all. Don't be so sure of what you want that you wouldn't accept something better. Because what do y'all think the future of tax is going to be? Is it going to be lower, the same, or higher? I think it's a safe bet that the future of taxes are going to be higher. And all I got to do is ask you, do you want to pay the most possible taxes or the least possible taxes, right? All truths are parallel. If you were a farmer, would you rather pay the taxes on what it costs you to buy a handful of seeds? Or do you rather pay the taxes of the value of a field full of crops? Handful of seeds, field full of crops. All truths are parallel. When you are deferring taxes to the unknown future, that's the equivalent of you of saying, I don't want to pay taxes on the seed, but I want to pay an unknown, unforeseen, unquantifiable taxes on my future crops and harvest, right? And all I got to do is break it down, right? Because that same couple, this is what happened to that couple. You know how one couple was in the negative 12,000 and the other couple more than doubled their money? That first couple, they didn't realize that they had to do what's called required minimum distribution, RMDs, on their qualified retirement accounts. Because, they realized that, hold up, I paid all this money into this and now they're counting it as income and now it's keeping me from getting my benefits. And now I have to appear indigent in order to get any additional help. You want to find a way to have access to the money you need, but without it being considered income. Because guess what? That first couple, they had to pay $164,337 on total taxes paid on their required minimum distributions, and they were forced to start that at age 72. They didn't want to take it out because they saw how it was adversely affecting their other benefits, but they were forced to take it out, right? Taxes paid on the growth from the rollover of the required minimum distribution. Because once you take that money out, you got to put it somewhere. And when you put it somewhere else, chances are, if you follow these same habits, that the money that's being earned on that is going to be taxable as well. So you're going to end up paying $67,338 in taxes on where you relocate those required minimum distributions, and then taxes paid on the remaining after death. Because what happens is when you pass away, whoever your beneficiaries are going to have to pay taxes again. That comes to a total of $106,665. And all of that combined comes to a total of $338,339. Whereas the other couple, if they went ahead and ripped the Band-Aid off, instead of paying a lot of taxes over a long period of time, what they do is they take not very valuable information and they don't just listen and not do anything. Because here's the thing. A lot of people say that knowledge is power. That's not true. Knowledge is only potential power. Applied knowledge is power. And when you learn something like what I'm about to teach you, you have to apply it. And what happens is if you rip the band-aid off, listen, I'm not one of those people that's going to tell you I'm going to keep you from paying 100% of all taxes. But we're going to make it to where it's as minimal as possible. And looking at this scenario, if they did rip the Band-Aid out and they got out of a taxable environment and then they moved into a non-taxable environment, yeah, they'll end up paying $125,000 in taxes. But now they're not paying no taxes on the future growth, and they're not paying any taxes on the money being passed at their death, right? And all you can do is extrapolate. Some of y'all might be like, 500,000. I don't got 500,000. And some of y'all might be like 500,000 is a little bit of money. Just extrapolate. If you don't have 500,000, just act as if this was your 50,000. And do the math. Divide each of these numbers by 10. Or let's say if you got $5 million, do the math and multiply this by 10 to where you can see per your situation what it would look like. We need to avoid paying unnecessary taxes as much as possible. And this is how you do it.